We're just outside Squamish, British Columbia, overlooking the Shannon Basin. The only way to get up here, actually the best way to get up here, is by the Sea to Sky gondola. Hi, I'm Bill Deba. We're here for the 58th annual Logger Sports Competition, part of the Squamish Days Logger Sports Festival. This week we're covering the underhand chop, the obstacle pole buck, and the log burling. So don't go away, it's time for Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
I'm here with longtime veteran competitor Carl Bischoff. And Carl, you've been to Squamish many times over the years. You know most of these competitors. This week we're covering the obstacle pole buck. Who are the couple of players in this field that you like tomorrow?
I feel the strongest two competitors tomorrow would be Mitchell Hewitt, my son-in-law, and Sterling Hart. And I picked the pair of them because they've got a lot of experience in the bush, running chainsaws. I favor Mitch a bit more. I would say Sterling's a little better athlete on agility, whatever, but Mitch has more time on the saws. It's gonna be a tremendous race. But, you know, out west here, we do it a fraction different from out east, because out west, we'd have to physically start the saw, bury the bar on the bottom side, and the better guys will take the wood up to nothing, come out, roll their wrist, and use the bottom side on the back. So it's a lot harder to do than the eastern way of doing the obstacle pole. But those would be my two top runners for tomorrow in that event.
This week, we're also recovering the women's single buck, a strong field of competitors, a lot of good competitors out in Western Canada in general. Who do you like in that field?
Well, there's three strong competitors we have over the years. It'd be Danielle Koch, Anita Jakowski, and Caitlin Stewart. But there's a new kid on the block, Ali Briscoe, 14 years old, I might add. But she is just turning up the arena, making chips fly. It's amazing.
Well, you know, the legendary Sea to Sky Highway travels from Vancouver to Whistler and beyond along a glacial fjord and into the mountains, and it's one of the most scenic drives in the province of British Columbia. And the Squamish Days Logger Sports Festival is a weekend full of excitement, fun, and action aimed to make every member of the family smile. There are music and arts events, children's activities, a parade, some wacky bed races, a 10K run, a pancake breakfast, and 2 world-class logger sports shows with competitors from all over the world. Now, earlier in the day, before this big crowd arrived, we had a number of different log rolling preliminaries. We've whittled it down to the top 4 competitors. This first round is going to be Lucas Brownjohn and Paul Lohr, originally from Nova Scotia, taking on each other for 3rd place. So this is for 3rd and 4th. Lucas Brownjohn from Horsefly, British Columbia. Paul Lohr now residing in Vancouver, but he's learned his log rolling skills in Nova Scotia from the Scott brothers.
And of course, Lucas Brownjohn spends his days all summer long at Grouse Mountain doing the same thing. So both guys do this for fun, but here they are in competition, taking one another on.
And Lucas Brownjohn takes control of the log right at the gate there, and he snaps Paul Lohr into the drink. A big smile on Paul Lohr's face, but you can see that Lucas has really got control on the left-hand side here.
And of course, Paul Lohr not used to competitive log burling at all here. And of course, Lucas Brownjohn does this every year at Squamish. You can see the control he has of the log. Lucas Brownjohn is the guy to beat here right now.
Now you can see Paul Lohr, he was up on his toes there and didn't really have control of his feet at all. And Lucas just snaps him right into the water on the 2nd of 2 heats here. Lucas Brownjohn will get 3rd place at the Squamish Days Logger Sports Festival. And what happens here? They say time in, and Paul Lohr is off the log.
Lucas Brownjohn is just waiting for that go signal, and as soon as he hears it, he puts all of his effort into snapping that log out from underneath Paul. Now
this next round is for 1st and 2nd place. We have Cassidy Shear taking on Brian Bartow. Now Cassidy Shear, that last name may look familiar to anybody who knows anything about log rolling. It is Fred Shear's son, and he starts out with a splash into Brian Bartow's face, and Brian Bartow goes down, maybe caught a little bit off guard there.
I think that tactic of splashing water actually worked incredibly well. It goes right into Brian Bartow's eyes, and actually he's off balance. He actually goes in the drink.
2 very strong log rollers here. We saw Brian Bartow in the finals a couple of years ago when he lost to Shauna Martin. Once again in the finals, he is now down 1-0 to Cassidy Shear, heading into round number 2.
Brian Bartow, a really strong competitor. There's another splash right in his face again, and Brian Bartow switches on the log, and he's not even looking at Cassidy's feet.
What an incredible maneuver. He switches and faces the other way, and Cassidy Shear wins the log burling. Obviously, with the last name Shear, you grew up in a log-growing family, Hayward, Wisconsin. Just tell me about your strategy going against Brian there.
Brian's a good roller. He's very fast. I didn't want to get into a running match with him. I wanted to be aggressive. I think that aggressive log rolling is winning log rolling. Gave him a big boot right away. I saw it, hit him with velocity. I got him a little off balance, then just ran him in. And the second one, I'm not sure what Brian was trying to do there. A bit unconventional. The crowd was entertained. That's great. But yeah, if you're not looking at your opponent's feet, it's kind of hard to stay on the log.
Well, we've seen Brian Bartow at a lot of different events. He's usually a very focused competitor. Not quite the same frame of mind here today as Cassidy Shear takes first place in the log burl.
We're back here in Squamish, British Columbia for the Logger Sports Festival. And just before the show got started, I had a chance to talk to show chairman John Herford. So, John, this year at Logger Sports, we got a couple of poles, brand new poles, 105 feet in length, and it looks easy. You know, we got a couple of poles here. Just tell me a little bit about the process of getting to the final resting point.
You're right, Bill. The process actually takes about 2 years. We decide that when the other trees that we're using before are going to wear out. So you don't want to bring your trees too soon because you're going to take away trees that are already good and put new ones in. Then once they're there, we can wedge them in our little socket, let the crane release it. And the crane, to pick these things up 105 feet long initially, and you do that, it's not an easy lift. And to get them vertical and drop them in the hole, it was a really big challenge.
A big challenge indeed getting those poles in the ground, and a great job by the entire organizing committee of the Squamish Days Logger Sports Festival. John is the show chairman, and they are a well-oiled machine. They've been putting this show on for 58 years. This first heat of the tree climb, Eric Hoberg taking on Keith Zender in an 80-foot climb up and down.
Both Americans here in this heat, both guys familiar with the pole. So again, the whole thing is you don't have to necessarily be first to the bell, but you got to put a good up in, and then of course these guys are coming down just as fast as they can as well.
One notable absence this year, Sterling Hart with a back injury. He will not be in the pole climbing field, but nonetheless we have 4 excellent climbers. We got Keith Zender leading the way right now. Eric Hoberg trying to catch him at the top.
So Zender, the first one of the bell, he misses the bell, a little bit of a catch up there, and he has him a slow time coming down, and it looks like Hoberg from behind, if he can get us down quick, and he's done it. He's passed him. First one to the mat with a time of 26 seconds.
What a great race on the way down. It's often that's where the competitors will win the race. That was a great race. Just tell me about your coming down in your tree climb there.
Oh, well, it helps having an announcer because I could hear him saying that Keith was getting ahead, so I knew to just open up a bit more, as big as I could be comfortable coming down.
Well, that was a great race, but we have a couple of experienced veterans right now. Brian Bartow taking on Cassidy Shear. This will be the last heat of the tree climb. The time to beat 26.61.
And you know this is going to be a rubber match because Cassidy took out Bartow in the log burling. So Bartow, again, great climber, going to be looking to even the score here in the tree climb.
He's looking for a little bit of payback indeed. Both guys racing up the pole. Experienced climbers here. Look at the climbing on Brian Bartow, just ahead of Cassidy Shear right now.
And Bartow's going to be the first one to the bell, and then he has an out, get down as fast as he can. Cassidy Shear turning around. He's got this unorthodox way to get down. He almost catches Bartow down.
What a spectacular race. Brian Bartow wins the tree climb with a 21.48, just edging out Cassidy Shear on the way down. Just tell me about your climb.
Well, luckily I put in a good time yesterday, so I can focus on other events, but I was just trying to stay right with Cass and set him out.
Another event that's a crowd favorite here in Squamish, the tree climb. Brian Bartow edging out Cassidy Shear. In an earlier heat, a spectacular heat, Lucas Brownjohn edged out Nick Hall. Up next is the choke race. We're showing you the top 3 heats. His first heat, Brian Bartow taking on Nick Van Broeklen.
And a bit of a grudge match, I guess. Both these guys are actually track coaches from the United States. Brian Bartow, though, I'm going to make this look easy, even though these choker cables are over 30 feet long, weigh over 80 pounds.
And here in the choker race, it's clear advantage to be able to have the long legs because you're going to see them hurtling over the bunk logs in just a second after they make their way across the Birling pond.
And no easy feat either. These bunk logs are about 4 feet in the air, so it takes quite a jump to get over them. Both these guys, though, very capable athletes. And look at this. Both guys hurling these logs.
And they make those choker cables look light. Those choker cables are actually 80 pounds. They're carrying them like they're pieces of rope. Brian Bartow is done first. He hurdles his way over the bunk logs on his way back across the pond.
Takes 2 seconds to straighten out his run with the boom log, and he's across. Brian Bartow with a time of 24.4 as Van Broeklen is in the drink. He gets out quickly and crawls across the finish line.
Great job finishing by Nick Van Broeklen. Heat number 2, Jordan Mulheron taking on Paul Lohr, time to beat 24.46.
Both these guys, East Coast boys. Right here, Jordan from New Brunswick, Mr. Lohr from Nova Scotia. And it looks like he's in the drink already as Mr. Lohr is making his way over the second bunk log, not hurtling like the last pair, but he's getting the job done nonetheless.
No question, he's making that 80-pound choker cable look like 80 pounds. He's got the fancy suspenders and hat to go with it, but he's having a hard time getting it underneath the bunk log. Jordan is well on his way. It looks like Paul Lohr is falling asleep across under the bunk log.
Jordan Mulheron not worrying about that at all. He straightens out his run. He's coming across a boom log. If he can stay up and stay dry, he's got it made, and he does. Makes it to the other end of time, 37 seconds.
And Paul Lohr is well behind. He finally found the choker cable. He's got a big smile on his face, and he's making his way over the last 2 bunk logs before crossing the pond.
You always see a big smile on Paul's face. Look how he throws his choker. Get no idea to sling that thing underneath the log. But remember what he does for a living, right? He actually does these comedy shows, so he's always got a big smile on his face. Again, they've never done this event on the East Coast, so he's still trying to learn here during the event. But he does get it underneath here. It does look like he's stuck under the log. Hauls it through, gets it hooked on, and then away he goes. But you always see a big grin on Paul's face. It's great to have guys like this competing here.
Well, if you haven't done it before, you need a couple of lessons, or you just got to learn by experience. This last heat, Jesse Whitehead taking on Cassidy Shearer, time to beat 24.46. This should be a great heat.
Now you talk about guys learning. Jesse Whitehead from down in New Zealand gets across, stays pretty much dry, but Jesse's learning all these events for his first time. This is his second time. He's actually third time he's been to Squamish, but look how fast he is in this event. He's learned them really fast.
Here's another one of those long-legged guys. Cassidy Shearer with the big long legs should be able to hurdle the logs. Here comes Jesse. It's neck and neck right now. Both guys going over the last bunk log. Both guys heading over the pond exact same time.
Oh, what a great race. Who's it going to be? Jesse Whitehead actually beats out Cassidy to win.
And Cassidy just makes it over without getting wet. What a great finish.
Oh, great job by Jesse Whitehead, beating out one of the best in the choker race.
What a great race with Cassidy Shearer there. I know you're not happy with the overall finishing second to Brian, but just tell me about your race with Cassidy.
Oh, it started off good. I got pretty much right across the log and just about ended up in the water, but I managed to recover from that, and I must have set a bit faster than Cassidy and ended up just beating him at the end there.
Well, again, a guy known for swinging a mighty act, Jesse Whitehead finds himself almost at the top of the heap here in the choker race, but Brian Bartow takes home first place handily.
What a fantastic place to visit. You drive up the road from Vancouver, British Columbia, up the Sea to Sky Highway, take the Sea to Sky gondola, and you get some spectacular views of Squamish and the surrounding area, including Howe Sound. Up next is the Modified Chainsaw. We're here at the Lumberjack competition, which is part of the Squamish Days Lager Sports Festival. In total, we're going to be showing you the top 3 heats. This first heat, Wayne Paulson against Saw Guru Dennis Cahoon.
And a great race here. Wayne Paulson, no slouch at all in the hot side event, but Dennis Cahoon builds these things for a living. But they're down together, and who's it going to be up to the top? It looks like it's Dennis Cahoon.
What a spectacular race there by Wayne Paulson, Dennis Cahoon. Wayne Paulson, the auto mechanic from Edmonton, almost takes out the old guy, Dennis Cahoon. You know, last time we covered you 2 years ago, you were concerned you didn't do too well. This one was pretty flawless, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did okay on this cut. Last 2 years ago, I cut out, and I expected to win. I did win last year, and I made a pretty good cut today. We'll see if it holds up, though.
Is it true it's thin to win?
Yes.
That's funny. We say that quite a lot, thin to win. And for whatever reason, when you're in the sawing events, the thinner the cookie, the easier it cuts, whether it's a buck saw, crosscut, or a chainsaw. And of course, the other thing is when you're only given so much wood, the thinner it is, the more room you have.
You may think it's easy, but 2 cuts within 4 inches with a chainsaw is not that easy. Never mind a modified saw with a maximum of 140 cc's. Here we got Dave Flanagan taking on Cecil Starr from Ontario, and it looks like Cecil could use another branded saw.
Well, Flanagan obviously has a big advantage here using a modified saw. It is stocked. He's got a tuning pipe on it, although he stalls it here in the middle of the log, and you can see he hasn't cut the far wood. He's going to have to go back and touch his saw to get it timed.
And Cecil is still struggling as he just started his second cut. No question that his bar is long enough. A couple of issues there. In your upcut, you didn't quite get it in as quick as you wanted to, but just tell me about your upcut in general and the fact that, is your bar not long enough?
Bar wasn't long enough. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to the store and buy another one.
So you had a bit of a struggle finishing things off, a little bit too aggressive?
Yes. Yeah, not enough practice.
Well, no question, when you got a 22-inch round piece of fur, you got to make sure you have a long enough bar. Cecil Starr did have a long enough bar. Dave Flanagan, no question, a short bar, rather risky maneuver. This next heat, father-in-law versus son-in-law. Mitch Hewitt taking on Carl Bischoff.
Both guys really good at the hot side end here. Both guys in the wood at the same time. Mitch Hewitt with a bit of an advantage right now. He's the first guy with a cookie on the ground, but Carl Bischoff Oh, and his chain throws off.
And Mitch Hewitt's going to win this heat handily with a time of 12.17. Great job by Mitch, but look at Carl. What happened here? His gas tank exploded by his chain hitting it. Never a good time for a chain to come off, but you know, you were feeling pretty confident yesterday. Just tell me what happened.
Well, the saw was, I quicked the wood, hit its revs right away. Alcohol sometimes will load up and they hesitate, went, whoa. So I hugged the tree because the wood is big. I came off the bottom and I must have just cuffed the bottom of the big log and it took the chain off. Came back, slapped my fuel tank, and the tank's all gone now, so race is over. I'm going home.
Well, don't go home just yet, Carl. We still have the tree felling to go, and I know you're registered in that. Dennis Cahoon wins the modified chainsaw. He's a master saw builder from California. He takes it with a 10.09. And we're going to slow the pace down a little bit to a little bit of manual double bucking. A couple of teams here. We got the Moses, David Sr. and David Jr. taking on an East-West team here from Canada, Cecil Starr and Sterling Hart.
Cecil made the big drive all the way from Ontario to make it to Squamish Days Logger Sports Festival, and he's teamed up with a great guy here, Sterling Hart. They should be good, a good team here on the double buck.
Well, the father-son team of Moses Jr., Moses Sr., they've been sawing together for a lot of years, but they may not have it taken on the Canadians. Sterling Hart and Cecil Starr, they got a lot of sawing experience, and they got some youthful exuberance as well.
Well, they're both in the prime of their careers right now. Pulling well, they have a big hang-up here, though. That'll spur them on as they get into the small wood and try to pull this thing down and get it off. Looks like they're going to be right around 18.7 seconds.
Good speed there by Moses Jr. and Sr., but their saw was just not dropping, and they couldn't catch Starr and Hart. A little bit of East Coast, West Coast teammanship there. Just tell me how it went and your struggles about 3/4 of the way down.
Well, I'm not sure why, but somehow my hand slipped off, but once we kept it moving or got it going again, we seemed to go all right.
Hand slipping off, is that a lack of training, or what do you attribute that to?
Oh, no, for somebody like Cecil, it's just hard for him to harness all that raw horsepower that he has. You know, we got through that top half of log, and then we just brought the coals, so.
Well, the East Coast boys are known for their prowess in the sawing division. Look at that, Cecil Starr finishing third, and also another East Coast boy, Joe Whelan, finishing first with Wayne Paulson.
We're back here in Squamish, British Columbia for the final event of the Squamish Days Logger Sports Festival, and it is a spectacular event. It is called the Tree Felling. This beautiful 5,000-seat arena is about to shake with thunder as these poles are going to hit the ground, an event called the Tree Felling.
Tree felling done both East and West Coast, but on the West Coast it's far more spectacular because look at the size of these trees. 20 to 24 inches at the butt. What they have to do is, of course, run up to the trees, grab their saws. They have to make a traditional notch on the West Coast used to save the log, which is called a Humboldt notch. It's an upside-down conventional notch, and a lot of guys don't do it very well. So fellers usually have the advantage of making a Humboldt notch a lot faster than these guys that don't do it every day.
Now we have a fantastic field of competitors, some Americans, some Canadians. We have veteran competitor Norm Gagne, veteran competitor Rob Weibel, young gun Sterling Hart, and also our own favorite Carl Bischoff. It's modified chainsaws. The race is about to get underway, and it's going to be spectacular.
So these are modified saws. They have to fell the tree. It has to hit the pin. If you don't hit the pin, it's a DQ. So again, they have to do everything right. There's a few other things they judge on. You have to make a good notch. You have to leave your holding wood the whole way across the stump of the tree. So again, it's not over till it's over.
Once again, if you're not accurate, speed means absolutely nothing. You may be the first to drop to the ground. Looks like Carl Bischoff's on the backside. Mitch Hewitt drops his tree first over there, but did he hit the pin? We're not sure. We're going to have to go to the judges there. The trees are going to start to fall. There's Carl Bischoff's going down. Norm Gagne's going down. Carl Bischoff, fist pump up there. He hits the stake. All the trees are starting to fall.
It's amazing hearing these things thump when they hit the ground. Look at the excitement here. The crowd is going bananas. Hearing the thump. Trees are falling left and right. We'll have to wait till the judges are done looking at this to see who it is in first place.
I know for sure Carl Bischoff is pretty confident that he hit the ground. Walt Page, you can see with his hand signal, he thinks he hit the stake as well. A couple more trees still to fall. There goes James Hartley down the ground. What a spectacular event of these massive trees falling to the ground to end a fantastic celebration of logger sports. A few more than the other side still got to clear, but what a spectacular event for the crowd to see.
That's why Squamish Logger Sports Festival, this is the granddaddy of all events in North America, and here's the reason why.
So Carl, I mean, it's obviously a lot of strategy. It's not just horsepower. It's a lot between the brains as well. Tell me exactly what you do here.
Well, I spent 25 years handfall in the province of BC, so this is nothing new to me. But in the arena, there's more pressure, but it has to be a legal stump, referring to the undercut has to come out of the face of the stumps. Has to be a slope here, cleaning undercut, which we see here, which is legal. Then you go to the back above, so you have hinge wood. Plus, you have to have holding wood across the whole stump, which I do have. But it all went good, so hopefully I'm in the top. Hopefully I'm the winner.
Thanks, Carl.
Okay.
What a great event, a great way to end the Squamish Days Lager Sports Festival. Carl Bischoff, just like he called it at the beginning of the show, he wins it with a 28.85.
And the crown pivotal point again back on Carl Bischoff, the Godfather, as he takes a DQ in the modified chainsaw. That's no points at all, and it puts him out of the running for the overall.
But when you got your gasoline spewing all over the place, don't expect to see your name on a leaderboard. Look at Mitch Hewitt just edging out Brian Bartow by 15 points and finishing with a grand total of 500.
And the K100 Lumberjacks of the day. On the women's side of things, Danielle Koch with a total of 200 points takes home first. On the men's side, it's Mitch Hewitt from Scotch Creek, British Columbia.
Pretty good day there for you, Mitch. You know, everybody kind of puts you as the favorite to win the springboard chop, but you're not necessarily the favorite in the rest of the stuff. Tell me about the butcher block and your strategy in that.
Yeah, that went really well. I went with a couple of old guys this year. A bit of wisdom helped. Carl and Dave Flanagan. So we cut really well. We took a little chip and just bored into it, and we had a good log, and it worked out really well.
And the obstacle pole, again, a lot of good competition there, but it's often down to a second or two who wins that. What gets you that second or two to win them?
I don't really know, Bill, but I think there was 4 of us within a second, so it was a good close race, and I was just lucky enough to have the wind in my favor and get me over the line.
It's always great coming out to the beautiful province of British Columbia, and specifically the Squamish Days Lager Sports Festival. Come back again next week when it'll be time for Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
We're here at Squamish running the 140cc hot saw class. This is a Honda CR 125 bored out to 139 to make it just under the legal limit. Perfect. Some people run chainsaws here, but you also can run any kind of two-stroke motor that you want, and which makes it very interesting. Their rules are any kind of motor under 140cc or less, any kind of fuel, and so that makes it a very interesting combination of chainsaws, go-karters, motorcycle guys, whatever.